Alright, so day 3 of the Silent Hill 2 remake free cam playthrough, the cam hacked playthrough. Currently left off in Neely's bar. We haven't actually looked around Neely's bar just yet, so we're going to take some time and do that. Definitely going to take some time to do that. Let me make sure really quickly. Adjust the game audio a little bit. Should be okay. Let me know if anything doesn't look right or sound right. James in his classic looking at things pose. I don't know what got into him. He just started smashing the thing. Had to throw him out. He ran off. Cried he'd fix everything. I gathered up what I could. Still haven't found one of the buttons. Half the record is still lodged inside, but the other part's missing. Figure he must have taken it. Come to think of it, he did run towards Groovy. Anyway, maybe go check up on him. See if he's alright. He lives over at Saul, by the pharmacy. Apartment 9. And just like we were talking about last time, these notes, like how they apply to James, some people take them very literally, very much at face value, and they assume that this is just notes directly about James, but again, that contradicts much of the information that has been concrete as part of the story since the original game. James doesn't live in Silent Hill, doesn't live on Saul Street or Apartment 9. Him and Mary were here once for a very brief vacation before Mary fell ill, and then never came back until this moment, the start of this game. James is going to mark that on his map. Go and check that out a little bit later. Actually, we already checked out Groovy Music. Now we're going to check out this breakfast menu. They got some French toast, pancakes, grilled chicken, cheese and bacon, tomato soup, mixed green salad, free coffee. $10 for pancakes? Yeah, like $9 for French toast, $10 for pancakes. But the coffee's free. That's what they're doing. The coffee's not free. The coffee is included in the cost of those $10 pancakes. Same menu. Yeah, same thing, just copied over 3 times. America. America run no dun dun. Oops. Yeah, let's see if there's anything hiding in the vents. Nothing rendered. 79-cent beer. Same sign, I think, was over at Big J's Diner we looked at yesterday. More old Polish whiskey. A little bit different bottle up here. Thing hiding in the freezer? Nope. In the fridge. The racks and stuff are actually rendered as part of the model, but nothing in there. We got a Monsterizer. Yeah, Monsterizer blender. And the Maffa's microwave cooker. Nothing hiding out in there. Yeah, no Hot Pockets in the microwave. No pancakes. Nobody microwaving their coffee. More cigarettes. These are much more angular compared to the ones that we had seen some of the other locations. I guess it depends. They've got various different versions with different quality. Changes in insurance prices. City unsure the problem. Trying to see what these textures, pictures and stuff. Opinions and facts. New forum. Number 1. This small changes can happen. No, can have something. Can't quite clip through it to see what that lower newspaper underneath is. Don't have a whole lot of like fine control over the camera mod, unfortunately. One of the main reasons, I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff that could potentially be on these like newspapers and notes and stuff around the town. But I know for a fact from some of the assets and things that have been ripped and posted online by other fans that some of the newspapers and notes that you'll find actually have little fragments, bits and pieces of Mary's letter written on them. I'm curious when we will first start seeing that pop up. The press, something. Of course, the classic, there was a hole here, it's gone now. Bar Neely's writing. Press progressive. Indoors. People in graduation gowns and caps. It's like a negative. Okay, so that seems to be repeated textures. Those newspapers. Switches and valves and stuff up here. Oh, look at that. It's Metal Gear Solid. We're in the air ducts. Trying to find Meryl. Music notes and stuff on the back wall. There's a little mural that's kind of behind the jukebox. We can clip right through the sheet and see the jukebox itself is actually rendered completely under the sheet, even when you don't see it. Even with the missing button. You can see some of the artwork and stuff in the back of it. Your lounge singer ladies. Eventually we get the key to this door once we sort of solve the jukebox puzzle. I can teleport James back here and we can just skip it if we really want to. Our trusty cart with yellow tape wrapped on it so that we know we can push it around. Papers and drawers back here. Another one of those folding bikes, which I was told used to be fairly common in Poland and a lot of Europe. Not so much in the US. Repeated mailbox texture. This was in one of the other houses that we've already explored. Yeah, the visit hours, leave info here, the notes and letters left around. Cool. They reuse stuff? Talk about being lazy. You know, believe it or not, there are some fans that think that way. Not just about Silent Hill, but about a lot of video games, without really kind of understanding what goes into game development. Because, like, to be fair, it's something that I have complained about with other games, like Silent Hill Downpour, for example. But there is a difference between overusing a particular asset to the point where it's way too often that they utilize it. And it makes the environments feel boring because everything you see is just copy-pasted from stuff you've already seen. As opposed to a game like this, where, yeah, they reuse textures and stuff, but the environment detail, the amount of variety in things that they use, and the detail that goes into them is, like, really, really good. So, the repetition of those assets and stuff doesn't matter as much when you're immersed in the game, and when the details are the environmental details are as in-depth as they are. Got our little corner-mounted TV. It's a Pamacrony. A VA Z894 Rotman. Whoops, and we clipped outside. I love James's face there. The little animation of him turning and kind of puffing his cheeks out when he pulls the sheet down and all the dust kind of whips up into his face. Can I cam hack while we look at this? Nope. But I can while he looks at this. It's exactly how I look at my broken record shards. Oh. And there's inside of James's mouth and eyes. The other half of that broken record we found in Groovy Music. There it is now that it's been repaired. Oh, he's doing the finger thing. He did this when we picked up a key in part 1. Certain items, for some reason, his hand is posed like that when he's looking at them. But now we have the repaired vinyl record, I Love Groovy Music, The Long Way Home. Produced by A. Conroy. Published by I Love Groovy Music Productions. So apparently, I Love Groovy Music, more than just being the local record store, also produced records for people. And yeah, this would never work. This would never play. I appreciate the detail of like the smudged glue and everything, putting the pieces together. And all the wear and tear on the label. There's the reverse side. But yeah, that would never work. Now we've got to go get that button. Let's just look in the machine now that some stuff has moved around a little. You can even see the design on the bottom part where all the records are stacked. All the gears and stuff for how this turns and works. The wiring for the speakers on the side. It's a lot of detail. A lot of little detail in this machine. The wood grain pattern and everything all the way through. For the inside of a machine, you can't even really see that well by default. Cool stuff. Alright, so we need to go Saul Street Apartments. We've still got a lot of locations and things that I want to stop and look at just around the town in general. I mentioned there's a Metal Gear Solid reference, and here you go. Andy's Tool Shop. World's finest Metal Gear and woodworking tools. That was not a location in the original game, so that feels very deliberately a Metal Gear reference, Metal Gear Solid reference. Blowout sale up to 50% off. rolls of tape, extension cables, rusty nails, rusty tools, some all-purpose Ultra Lube lubricant, can't wait to hear the disgusting fan theories on that. Peterson kerosene, we saw that in another location. Imperium gasoline. Vices. Again, all this stuff that's sort of set up in here, you can like barely see in there normally. Oh, we got Silent Hill fresh meats. This is where you can get your beef, your roast beef. No smoking. Fine quality. Finest quality. Doctor bills. In the Silent Hill fresh meats shelf. Got little things that say doctor bills, labeling the shelves on the side. Most likely just a reused shelf prop. But again, anything kind of related to doctors and health could potentially be something that was referential to Mary. Yeah, possibly an asset that was made for the hospital and then used here just to kind of fill out some of these little window dressings and locations you don't really go inside. More newspaper things. Oh, this one's different. Silent Hill News. Strange lights visible above Toluca. We saw a strange green light when we were on the forest trail walking into town. This is more of a reference to the UFO ending. Eateries scramble to find workers. We have seen all of the now hiring signs pretty much posted in like every business around town. Brookhaven. They referenced the misspelling of Brookhaven in the original game. So in the original Silent Hill 2, if you're playing it on like the OG PS2 copy, the sign for Brookhaven had a typo on it. It said Brookhaven. Not heaven, but Brookhaven. And then they changed that for re-releases of the game. Enhanced Edition fixes it, HD Collection fixes it. But yeah, if you play the original SH2, it does say Brookhaven as just a typo. Common mistranslation between Japanese and English, transposing R's and L's. Look at that wonderful artwork. Look at those kitty cats. Actually, pause. Let's also further analyze that for a moment. Brookhaven is predominantly a psychiatric facility. It's not like a normal hospital where a lot of children would be. It's predominantly adults in a psychiatric facility. But apparently there were children there too, and they did drawing contests for Brookhaven. Maybe it's just a whole separate place. Brookhaven is different from Brookhaven. Hey, just another chump. So does this game have any out-of-bounds Easter eggs, or does it play it straight? Yeah, there are out-of-bounds, specific out-of-bounds Easter eggs that were put by the developers to be discovered. If you check out part 1 of this playthrough, which is up on my YouTube channel or archived here on Twitch, there is a Silent Hill Ranch sign that's written in Comic Sans, hidden inside one of the barns as you're very first walking into the town. It's a reference to the HD collection changing that sign to be written out in Comic Sans, which a lot of fans mocked, myself included. One of many things that is very wrong with the Silent Hill HD collection. And they sort of reference it in that Easter egg. So there are specific out-of-bounds Easter eggs. Metal Gear Solid Easter egg? We just looked at it. It's like right here. Andy's Tool Shop. World's finest Metal Gear and woodworking tool. Don't drag your heels. Hit the dance floor. No partner, no problem. Singles. We'll pair you up. Join us every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Oh, it's like a photo of two people standing and facing each other. Real dark, hard to see. This is the dance company. Another dog poster. Saw some of those last time. Nothing else really hidden there. As always, I'm going to check out rooftops, some of these areas behind the buildings, even these big open areas where nothing is really rendered. Never know where something interesting might be hidden away. You will die if there's a Minmo reference. Still no Minmo reference, and still no light bulbs hidden inside of cans. Those are like some of the big ones that I'm really hoping we'll find. Solid auto truck repair. Let's go to Happy Burger. Quiet. Nothing hiding out in the car. The Corinthians Bible verse reference on the license plate, one of the ones we've looked up already. All that box full of random things in another room as well. That's kind of the nice thing. As we do start running into these repeated textures, we can recognize them and sort of move on past them a little bit quicker as we go. Sorry, we are closed. Very, very worn out. Menu out front. Starters. Ultimate something. Something flat. Outrageous something. Buffalo wings. Boneless fever wings. Big Star Burger, Sweet Burger, Cheeseburger, Smoke Burger, Cheddar Burger. What's the difference between the Cheddar Burger and the Cheeseburger? You may never know. That cocktails? Serve alcohol at Happy Burger, coffee, and Baxt, Svark. I think a lot of this is just randomly generated placeholder text. I mean, considering this label that's on the chainsaw itself that we saw in part 1, where is it? This right here, machine learning, automated text. It is very likely that a lot of these assets just used like AI generated text. So we might get random bits of nonsense from time to time. Toluca Times, Woodside Apartments, severely flooded. Happy Burger. The Drug Addiction Hotline. We'll actually see several of these posters around. Brookhaven Hospital Addiction Department. Drug Addiction Recovery Hotline. Got a lying figure on the ground here that will wake up and attack us. There's another one that stumbles from this back room. It's not actually rendered in yet. So it doesn't render in until you like walk around there and activate it. See if we can figure out at what point that happens. I think it's once you walk like right about here. Oh, there's the sound. Yep, there it is. Now it's spawned in. And this one will also get up and become active. Oh, I can't cam hack this one because he's not actually holding it. It's just a zoom in on the note. Feel the craving? You just can't help it? Go for it. Happy Burger. What you need is what you get. On the run, grab something to go. Again, little subtle hints at James's mindset. Can't help it. Go for it. Kind of the idea of, you know, committing murder. This could also be applied to Eddie or Angela for that reason. Considering it's a fast food place, it might be more relevant to Eddie in general. He has Happy Burger containers and stuff in his van on the observation deck that we looked at in part 1. And on the run, grab something to go. So on the run, Eddie tells Laura that he's running from the cops. We hear that in a little dialogue exchange with them later. What you need is what you get. The idea that they're getting punishment for what they've done. If the text actually matches what you read. Feel the craving? You just can't help it. Go for it. Happy Burger. What you need is what you get. On the run, get something to go. And yeah, that like Happy Burger box right there. That's one of the things that we found in the white van at the start. The American Dishes menu that we also saw in Big J's Diner. Reused asset there. $2.99. For this Happy Burger. The Queen's Special. Doesn't that look good? Takeaway, burgers. Your side of fries and chili peppers. Eating some raw red chilies. The side of my burger. That's how I do it. Best in town. Stop and eat here. Fast food restaurant. The king size. It's way less impressive than the Queen's Special. American Dishes menus. Best in town, fast food. Health drink sitting over here. Always hot, fries. Burger, Big Star Burger. cheddar burger, cheeseburger. We saw those on the menu outside, out front. Very dark back corner there. 99-cent sandwiches. This playthrough's making you hungry? I'm sorry. Yet another clock. Completely different model. I like how there's several different models of clocks, too. But the majority of the clocks that you find around town are stopped at 10 past 9 and 15 seconds, which was a puzzle solution for the grandfather clock puzzle in the original Silent Hill 2. Happy Burger special price. A set, B set, and C set. Buy one of these delicious Happy Burger kits, discount coupons, and Silent Hill amusement park tickets. Silent Hill amusement park tickets, not Lakeside Amusement Park. The park has a name. It's not just the Silent Hill amusement park. In every bundle. All meals include soft soda, medium with ice, with refill options for those who are not concerned with their sugar levels. Eddie, Laura, Mary. Shouldn't have had all those refills at Happy Burger. Also, nobody says soft soda. It's like soft drink or soda. What are our Happy Burger options here? The Runner, the Cheesy, the Crunch. Ooh, I love a good crunchy burger. The Crispy, the Big Beef, Homemade, the Big Rig. That's Travis Grady's favorite. The Toluca Burger. The Haven Taste. That's everybody's favorite at Brookhaven. The Double Mix. The Grilled Lux. And the Hell Wrap. Get yourself a Hell Wrap at Happy Burger. That's also not a wrap. That's just a burger. They're all just burgers. Give me that crispy burger. With every order, you can ask which drink you want. Grapist soda, Orangizer, Summer Dew, or water. You charge for your waters? Only 99 cents for a large Grapist soda or an Orangizer. $5 for a milkshake? What's the line from Pulp Fiction? When John Travolta's talking about the milkshake? It's a good milkshake, but I don't think it's worth $8 or whatever it is. 99-cent coffee, 29-cent macchia tea. We see boxes and cans around town. There's a repeated prop for macchia tea. We'll actually see that. And beer for $1.82. That's another one of those, like, you can tell it's a Polish game studio, that they're not quite as familiar with certain aspects of American culture. Like, there's very, very few restaurants, especially like burger places that are supposedly chains like Happy Burger would be, where you can get alcohol. It does happen. There's not none, but it's not a common thing. Whereas in a lot of other places in the world, in Europe, in Asia, getting beer or alcohol at a fast food restaurant, a lot more common. Enjoy our Happy Burger tasty menu. Burger and fries, cheesy and fries, crunch and fries, crispy. It's all the same ones listed over there, including our Hell Wrap. The double runners, get 2 burgers and a soda. The double cheesy, a crispy and a homemade. Robbie the rabbit is on the fry box. And considering, I guess, they have some sort of promotional tie-in with Lakeside Amusement Park, that would make sense. Drink of your choice with every order. Oh, there's our logos for Grapist Soda, Orangizer, Summer Dew, and Fock Water? FDC Water? Same coffee maker we've seen. Oh, they've got more stuff listed over here. It is POC water. It's POC water. Receipt sticking out of the register. So we actually saw this in another location as well. It seems like this is just a repeated prop. So all of the receipts like this, they're all for Cafe Texan. Although I do like the detail here. It's Cafe Texan. It gives its address, that it's on Cat Street in Silent Hill, and the date that it gives, or I don't know if it's supposed to be an actual date because it's got colons in between each thing, so it's more of a time. But the time is 10 past 9 and 15 seconds, the same as all of the clocks, or most of the clocks around town. Bottles and things back here. Spectrum. Standard. Something. This kind of looked like a medicine bottle. Why I was hoping I could see it a little more clearly. The ovens, got the fryers. Got our cleaning supplies down underneath. Pots and pans. Okay. Some neat stuff in the Happy Burger. If we have anything hiding in the lockers. Nope. Same bottles. Anything in the trash can. Dishes. Fancy little cup, candle holder thing. Diner trays, dish pit. Kind of crazy to think Bloober was like, hey, let's add all this stuff nobody can normally see. Because we know people are going to do cam hack playthroughs and boundary breaks, so let's put shit in for them to see. Yeah, we talked about that on part 1, but I really do appreciate that Bloober recognized the type of obsessive fans that there are in the Silent Hill fandom. They knew people were going to do exactly this, and deliberately put a lot of detail, little references and things. So good on them for recognizing the fan base and putting in little things to make the exploration and deeper delves into looking at the assets and things like that a little bit more fun and rewarding. Definitely get props for that. 37% formaldehyde solution. Read that bottle a little more clearly there. Start heading towards the Saul Street apartments. Take a look at Kent Shoes here for a moment. Since 1863. Nothing rendered inside. This is how most of the buildings look when you just clip in. Nothing really rendered. But we've already seen there is the occasional Easter egg. Saul Pharmacy here. A sign up above this little area you can't even normally get to. Make sure to check all the rooftops. Rooftop of Happy Burger. Oh yeah, and I actually wanted to test something out. Random floating electrical box. Let's see if the rooftops actually have collision. They do! There is actual collision. Interacts with your character model. Cool stuff. Even ones like this that you can't go into. A lot of games will not bother worrying about that kind of thing. They'll have something visually there, but if you clip like I'm doing to try and interact with it, you'll just phase right through it. For example, let's see, Saul Pharmacy. You can jump the fence. Fences have collision. Can't get in there. Oh, can I not? Did I break it? This would not be a good spot to break the ability to teleport. There we go. All of our hospital bedsheet barricades referencing Mary, as well as James's mental blocks. These big scaffoldings blocking off all the different sections of town. And everything stops rendering if you go too far that way. See if these little scaffoldings have collision. Yes. Not quite how I thought it would, but it does. Now this one, yeah, this is where you normally would climb down after having gone through the Saul Street apartments. So let's kind of do this in reverse. Let's go up. We should get the sound effect here, the notification. Yep, there it is. So that sound that you're hearing is your indicator that you can use the blue gem key item, one of the necessary things for the UFO ending. Here we go. We can also do this and actually see kind of the blue. Oh, it gets trippy like when you clip out from your default view. Where are you, aliens? Oh, so I mentioned Macchia tea, which we just saw over at Happy Burger. Here's one of the cans for it. See some cans and boxes and stuff for it around some various parts of town. John cigarettes, same brand we've been seeing. Missed opportunity to do Hemingway lights, which was a brand introduced in Silent Hill Origins, made an appearance in Homecoming and Shattered Memories and Downpour. Work boots, different from James's. Whoa. It's okay, James. No stairs. We can jump it. And that does connect to the rest of the building here. Same thing with these little gaps where the floor has given out. Oh, so like there we have an example of something that looks like it would have collision, but it doesn't. Little place where they don't expect the player to try to go. Here's an interesting one. So this door, it's implied from this cutscene that there is like a decaying body that is basically liquefied at this point on the other side of the door. And the bathroom here, by the way, Silent Hill 4 reference. This is like almost identical to the Silent Hill 4 apartment bathroom. It even has the hole in the wall, the sink and the mirror in the same place where the first hole leaving out of your apartment and into Walter's world appears. Like, other than the toilet placement, in Silent Hill 4, it's kind of like more in this little corner. This is almost identical to the Silent Hill 4 bathroom. Someone brushes their teeth in the tub. You know? Efficiency. Can't knock it. But yeah, suppose this is where we're going to get the button for the jukebox, which doesn't look like it's actually rendered in here. Sometimes, like in the original Silent Hill 2, you reach into a similar hole in the Woodside Apartments to get the clock key for opening up the grandfather clock out of a hole like this. And that key in the OG Silent Hill 2 is rendered and sitting in the back of the hole that you reach into, even though you don't see it yourself, without a cam hack. And the other side of the gross door, there is no body. No actual rendered body there, despite the implications. Nothing hiding in the toilet. Newspaper over here. Changes in insurance prices. Same newspaper that we saw in Bar Neely's. We've got the camera pulled way back for this scene, a lot further than it's supposed to be, so we get an interesting, little different perspective here. James getting some goop on his hand, and right after this cutscene, if we pause everything, you can see that the goop on James's hand is still there. It actually persists for a little while. It'll eventually come off, but right after that scene, immediately afterwards, it stays there. What is that goop even? So it's implied that there is like a body. The reason why James can't push this door open is there's like a rotting corpse on the other side of the door, keeping him from pushing it open all the way. So liquefied human is my best educated guess as to what the goop might be. There's also a note that you find on the streets of the town where they're describing the monsters, the note specifically says that the monsters look like they should smell bad, but they don't give off any kind of odor, which I guess is just part of them being manifested and not something naturally existing. James reacts to certain things like this as though it smells. So, to me, I interpret that note and the context of these things in the environment to tell the player what things are manifested and what things might actually be there in reality. If he reacts as though it has a smell, it's probably not manifested. It's implied to be something that's real. Maybe that's me reading a little bit too into it, but hey, that's kind of the fun of these games, right? Can I cam hack during these sequences? No, I cannot. Nope. Now that we've reached in, let's see, is the button rendered? Still not rendered. What we can do is, like, change the perspective, and I think that, yeah, that changes this. Now we can do it. Here's our button. James doing his I'm looking at things pose. My favorite. What else we got around these apartments? Colombian specialty fruit raspberries. We saw some of these same canned goods in some of the other locations. Authentic baked beans with pork. Baked beans and tomato sauce with pork. Serving size is half a cup. Interesting. Even the, like, nutrition fact labels are different from prop to prop. Some rare tuna. Chunk light tuna in olive oil. Low calorie, low sodium. What is? God, I wish this camera mod had a light. We'll have to do another cam hack playthrough sometime in the future. Because I know there is an Unreal Engine free cam that is paid. Like, the mod that I'm using is a fan-made one that's free. There's, like, some software that actually costs money that lets you explore Unreal Engine games that has a lot more functionality to it. You can use it during cutscenes, you can adjust the lighting. So maybe at some point I'll buy that software. Some All Stars Pizza. And we'll do another playthrough where we've got a little bit better lighting. We can take a better look at some of the cutscenes and things like that too. But for now, I'm pretty satisfied with this mod. We've already discovered some really interesting stuff just in the last couple days. Even got some dirty clothes in the hamper. Strawberry cheesecake. Like empty yogurt cups. Yeah, once we get the flashlight, we'll be able to do a little bit more with the lighting. But we won't get that until Woodside Apartments, unfortunately. 1986 antenna, same radio we saw over in Groovy Music. Different whiskey bottle. .100 proof. S whiskey. Got like a skull on the back of it. And a snake wrapped around the logo. Bottle of French wine. Happy Burger. Someone was enjoying their Happy Burger and whiskey. Different model of CRT TV than what we've seen in some other areas. Some artwork. Always want to take a moment and pause on some of these because I can reverse image search them at a later date if I don't recognize them right away. Because a lot of times the photos and paintings and things like that that you find throughout this game are actual pieces of artwork or photos that are public domain. So they can be reverse image searched and the source can be found. Got their box of vinyls here. Heartland's Atlanta. That weird looking belt that was in another area. Books. Too dark to really see. Rotary phone. You need to confuse a Gen Z child. Little Chinese food box over here. Yeah, and then that leads out there where we already know there's no collision, because we tried. Blank, blank, blank. And then she came and washed it all away. It all started to make sense again. Blank, blank. It's this place. I can't fight it. Gotta get my head straight. Quick stop at Texan. Then we're going. Another one of those notes where I feel like it's not directly in reality, not to be taken literally, but certain parts of it are meant to invoke a parallel to something about James. So this right here, and then she came and washed it all away. It all started to make sense again. makes sense in terms of James and Mary. Get that icon off of there. And zoom the camera in. We can see the actual writing and pages a bit more. Because despite everything being blanked, you can read a little bit more of it on the page itself. Too far. I don't know where I am. I've somehow gone outside. Okay. Yeah, if you like barely tap a key to move the camera, it like goes flying. Even when I have it moving like the slow setting. Something Woodside today. But it mentions Woodside. And 006. Even something hasn't been part. Something have. My life. Yeah, so even this stuff that's supposed to be like completely blanked out when you examine the note itself can make out a little bit more than what it gives you. And then she came and washed it all away. It all started to make sense again. That's the part it would let us read. This place, I can't fight it. Get my head straight. Quick stop at Texan, then we're going. Got some boots. Another pair of boots. Different from James. Different from the ones we saw up on the roof. Normally you're supposed to do this from the other side, but because we're teleporting around with the camera thing, we sort of did this in reverse order, explored this place in reverse order. So that was fun. Jump out of the window, and immediately the floor collapses. James busts out the chainsaw. There are enemies around. Don't sit there and pose with it. Just put it away, man. Once we get the gun, we can get him to put the chainsaw away, like, immediately. There we go. I just want him to do that so we can look around at stuff without the constant puttering of the chainsaw motor. You'd be surprised. Again, this kind of looks like one of the old-timey public domain photos that they use in a lot of parts throughout this game. We'll see a lot of that, especially in Brookhaven. Their TV model. It's like white hooded jacket. We actually see that repeated in some other places later. Nothing in the closet. In the drawers. Box of vinyl records. Same ones that we've been seeing at Groovy Music and upstairs in this apartment. Of course, we've got another clock. 10 past 9, 15 seconds. Just like most of them. Would be cool to see how you can break the game's scripting in other locations. I mean, yeah, with this mod, we can straight up skip a lot of stuff or clip out of things. I'm curious how the game will respond to some of those. Like, if we can just leave a boss fight. When we get to the end of Woodside Apartments and the Pyramid Head boss fight, we'll try just like clipping out instead of finishing the fight and see what happens. We'll mess around with that a little bit. I'm not as focused on that aspect. I'm more focused on kind of playing the game somewhat normally, just very meticulously going through each of the areas and environments like this. But I do want to play around with that a little too. Gotta admit, I'm curious how the game handles James teleporting around in some situations. White. Our Walter White bucket. Mop bucket, heater. There's a football. Got an Eddie reference. Headphones. Always curious about books. If any of the books have titles or anything like that. That's a good, easy spot to sneak in little Easter eggs and things. Yesterday during part 2, we found some VHS tapes that reference Crusher Dan and Shoot, which are movies in Silent Hill 1. Fake movies that use real movie posters. Hey, a little matchbox for Bar Neely's with "Waiting for You" written on it. Very similar to the one that we pick up earlier, where James marks his map, gives you your clue to go check out Bar Neely's in the first place. All the different boots and shoes and everything they've got everywhere. Towels and jackets. Nothing in the oven. Light bulbs? Light bulbs? Any light bulbs in jars? No light bulbs. More old Polish whiskey. Oh, we're seeing this cutscene triggered from the opposite side. Again, because we're kind of doing this in reverse order. Oh, and it put me back in this room. It's funny. Cigarette butts in the toilet. Butts in the toilet seems appropriate. That's what toilets are for, right? Butts. Yeah, James won't interact with this pack of matches, despite it being very similar to the ones that he picks up towards the beginning of the game. More bottles, more Polish whiskey. Anything hiding under the bed? Actually, more rendered out than I thought it would be. Well, let's just teleport out of there. Because we were kind of going through an area we were supposed to have opened with a key, but yeah, no, whatever. We go where we want. We are not bound by the order of things the game wants us to experience them in. Back up a little bit. Another clock, 10 past 9, 15 seconds, same reference. Got a note that we can pick up here. I'm certain now it's coming from that apartment upstairs. I keep telling them. Yeah, it is really blanked out. Why won't they do something? It's unbearable. I can feel it seeping into my skin. Pushing itself into my lungs. Same text. Once we pick that up, anything left there? Then we can read. Oh, we've got another fun appliance. So we have the Monsterizer stand mixer, the Monsterizer blender. Now we have the Black Devil toaster. Somebody on the dev team had a real fun time modeling and naming these things. And that's why we're here to further appreciate those details Here's the magic conch. Another VHS player. Got our VCR. But no tapes around this one like in the other apartment. No titles or anything on those books. Oh, nice. Picture of a lighthouse. I think this might have been... No, this looks more like an actual piece of artwork. Because there was a newspaper that we saw in yesterday's stream that had like a lighthouse photo. And we were speculating whether or not that was the Silent Hill 4 lighthouse photo. Henry is a photographer in Silent Hill 4. And one of the photos that he has in his bedroom is a lighthouse, which he took a photo of while he was in Silent Hill. So it is like the lighthouse, the one that you travel to in Silent Hill 1. Very messed up, creepy teddy bear up here. That's fun. Another bear right here. Kind of similar to the Brookhaven teddy bears where we're going to get the bent needle later. Typewriter with a QWERTY layout, which not all typewriters had, believe it or not. Another clock, same time. About everything in there. Six. Yeah. Nothing rendered in here since it's a place you're never really meant to go. Okay, we've already been that way. We've been that way. We've been upstairs, working our way down. I like how James is just like, I hear a bug. Bust out the chainsaw. I mean, to be fair, sometimes that's what I want to do whenever there's like a big ass garden roach or something in the house. Be like, alright, where's my chainsaw? Same repeated mailbox. We've seen in a few locations. A lot of little particular things in that office we'll check out in a moment. Anxiety. Alvirium. Okay, anytime we see like drugs or brands or anything like that, medications, I always try to see if it's a real thing. Alvirium. Alvirium Health, a global contract biotech company. A biotech company. But not an actual, like, drug name. Is your medication safe? Probably not. Good old-timey photo. All the faces smudged and blurred and edited out. It's probably one of the many public domain images. That the Lakeview Hotel? There's like a boat. Oh, that's the Historical Society. The Historical Society and the boat launch. You can see like the boat in the bottom left. Another location we'll be visiting a little bit later. A lot later, I mean. At the pace that this playthrough is going, we'll be visiting that sometime around May 24th. Saul Street apartment. One of the few locations where you don't actually pick up a map. James doesn't take this with him. You can examine it, you can like refer to it, but you don't actually pick it up and take it with you. Teleport into the office. Yeah, 2026. We'll get to the Historical Society. Apartment 5 left his key, says there's a leak from upstairs. Gotta check it out. James in his classic note-reading pose. I love the, like, coffee stain. Little details on the papers and stuff that you pick up. Natural food. That delicious breakfast meat. We've seen a couple of cans of this around, although this one's actually got a spoon sticking out of it. Someone was actually chowing down on the breakfast meat right out of the can. Fucking Resident Evil 7 looking food. Another football. Anything in the safe? Kinda. Just like a shelf, little lock texture. Or that strawberry cheesecake. Another one of the microwaves we've seen. Bill Cosby sweater. Silent Hill Homecoming wire puzzle. It actually does look very similar to some of the wire puzzles you have to do in Homecoming. It's not exact, but kind of looks like it. Reminds me of it. Oh, some repeated work boots finally. And some blue suede shoes. camera here. Hadn't seen this anywhere else yet. Insurance newspaper, seen that. Nothing on those. Okay. It's pretty much everything. The Saul Street Apartments. Burned up couch. Best auto parts. Official motor vehicle inspection station. More posters for good boys. Special care for your pets. Registered in 1980, vehicle repair shop. More help needed posters. Handicapped entrance. Enemies first. We have another mutilated James corpse to look at. The majority of the bodies and things that you find around the game are variations of James's model. It was the same way in the original Silent Hill 2. It's a deliberate thing from the developers. The town as James is seeing it, and as we, the player, are seeing it, is being shaped by James's own subconscious. And James came to the town to take his own life, but he's afraid to do that. He has a mental break and creates a false delusion where instead of having just killed Mary before coming to the town, he believes it's been 3 years. He didn't come to the, instead of realizing that he came to the town to take his life, he starts thinking that he had a letter that doesn't actually exist, that he's just here to look for her. But in his subconscious, he knows the real reason that he's here. And that is reflected in his mind projecting these mutilated versions of himself around the town. Gives us an old map, marks off some of the other locations for finding puzzle pieces that you need to progress. Everything that you need for the jukebox puzzle. Before we go clipping out of bounds and looking at all that stuff, I do want to look over here because we've got another note. Saul Street note, they can be killed. Just make sure they stay down. Oh, and if you look at James's hand, he still has that black ooze on his hand from when he examined the door in the Saul Street Apartments. Good detail there. That persists for quite a bit. I'm not sure when that actually goes away. At some point it does. Trash and cans around. Same things we've kind of seen. Take a nice thorough look at the inside of the RV. This place, all it's ever brought me is pain and misery. Dress form mannequins. AZ962. Which I don't think is a Bible reference, a Bible verse. The way some of the other license plates have been. Christian drink we can grab there. Not actually too much in here. But still cool to check it out. This construction stuff, these giant like metal girders. Rendered through there. Rendered back here. The edge of the world. There's a ladder leading to the roof. A place you can't even interact with. Actually, let's just teleport back here. There is ground collision. Yeah. It's curious. That ladder was actually interactable. That would have been really surprising. I thought maybe if they just copy pasted that from the one that you climb on the side of the Saul Street apartments, it might have the same prompt or something tied to the asset, but no. Worth checking. Alright. So we've got Barn Neely's. We've got the button. We can finish that. And we've got the optional grocery store, which I definitely want to check out. There's some little references to the original Silent Hill 2 in there. But we'll do this. Let's make a save. So far, this has been really stable for the most part. But just in case, let's save it in case the mod starts doing crazy stuff. Game could crash or I could get stuck somewhere. Have you done a camera hacked playthrough of the original? Yeah, I've done a camera hacked or a first-person view playthrough of Silent Hill 2 OG and Silent Hill 3. Those are both on my YouTube channel if you want to check them out. Oh, right. I need the token. We don't even have the token yet. We've got to go over to Texan Cafe. Let's go stop off at the grocery store. Squish some bugs. More of those cans of tea. Some green. We don't need to use the code, we can just teleport inside. Even though that code is not randomized, it's pretty easy to figure out. It's more fun to teleport around. Do you think this is better than the original? In some ways. I mean, obviously, visual fidelity, they're just able to do a lot more with the environments, the textures, the character models, the, like, facial animations and mocap. That was stuff that they couldn't do. Like, the technology just wasn't there back in 2001 for the original. Overall, as, like, a game, just as a whole experience, I still prefer the original, but I don't think this is bad. Like, this is very, very good, but it's not made as a replacement for the original. Even the developers themselves, the way this game was handled, it's not treated as though it's a replacement. It's kind of a love letter to the OG. But Silent Hill 2 OG and this are both phenomenal games. They both have their flaws. They both have their high points. They're different experiences, for sure. Most people consider them two different games because they are. They are two different games. They are two very different experiences for telling mostly the same story. First aid. White vinyl box with screen printing. Size 15 by 15 by 6 centimeters. First aid box. That seems like dev notes for making the prop. Cotton wool. Roller bandage. Tincture. Benzoin. Adhesive plaster. Antiseptic cream. Antiseptic solution. Dusting powder. Wound cleaner. Gauze swab, small, medium, large. First aid dressing, burn dressing, small, medium, and large. Cotton buds. Scissor. First aid leaflet for instructions. A standard like first aid box. But yeah, these are, a lot of the things in the store here are props that are from the original Silent Hill 2. So butter cake, for example, this was a background prop in the original Silent Hill 2. It also appears in Silent Hill 3 and Silent Hill 4. And it became somewhat well known among like diehard fans, so much so that in Silent Hill Book of Memories for the PlayStation Vita, one of the items that you can unlock or that you can find. You basically get artifacts in that game that are equipable and have different properties to them, affect your stats in different ways. One of the artifacts that you can get in Silent Hill Book of Memories is the box of butter cake. So, kudos to Bloober Team, including the butter cake reference, as well as some of the other ones that are around here. The butter cake is from the original. Macchia tea is from the original and was also referenced in this game earlier. Where's the other ones? Butter cake, the Macchia tea. Some Shining Soda's strawberry soda. Wonder if that's some of the AI filled out text. Apple juice. Buttercake reference top 10. Hey, how many of you diehard Silent Hill fans know about Buttercake? What you know about Buttercake? The Book of Gremory. Most of the books we've seen so far didn't have, like, titles on them. Is this a thing? Ah, it's a reference. Gremory is a demon listed in demonological grimoires. Gremory is described in demonological works such as the Munich Manual of Demonic Magic, the Liber Officiorum Spirituum, the Pseudo-Monarchia Daemonum, the Lesser Key of Solomon, which ties into some things in Silent Hill 1, such as the Amulet of Solomon that you pick up for one of the puzzles in that game. Okay. Interesting. Finding some demon books hidden in the environment. Always a good time, always fun. That's what we're here for. Giuseppe Napoli spaghetti. Pasta and meatballs made with pork. Oh, there's our Lakeview Farms. There's our roast beef. We found some of this during the stream the other night. Good old roast beef. Just like Mama used to make. More apple juice in a can form. Evaporated fresh milk. White fudge Vice Bizkits. Is that like a limp biscuit? Solid white tuna. Strawberry cheesecake. Polish dumplings. Again, Bloober Team is a Polish game studio, so there's lots of little Polish specific things that they put into this game, including these dumplings. More cheesecake, biscuits, spaghetti. Moldy fruit. Bunch of tuna cans. I like how there's like 4 different types of tuna cans that we found so far. Some fresh salmon. Doesn't get any more fresh than red salmon in a can. More boxes of butter cake up here. There's the other one. This is one of the other classic OG Silent Hill 2 background props, the box of cookie. Again, it's originally used in OG Silent Hill 2. It's a reused background prop in Silent Hill 3 and 4. The fact that Bloober picked up on that stuff and included it in this remake just goes to show they were really, really paying attention. They included a lot of very, very minute details and references to the other games. Oh, some different cans. We've seen the raspberries, but now there's blueberries, sliced peach. Different variations on the canned goods. More peaches, more tuna, more tea, more strawberry. Bloober impressed you with this version of Silent Hill 2? Oh, absolutely. Me as well. Because as a lot of my viewers know, my regulars know, I was not a fan of Bloober Team. I did not like any of their games. Before Silent Hill 2 Remake, I played all of them on stream, and the only thing they've ever really done good, in my opinion, was visuals. They're good at making nice looking games, but they were not. I didn't like their original stories, their characters, their storytelling, their like puzzles. A lot of things that they did just didn't impress me. They weren't things that I particularly enjoyed. And when it was first announced that Silent Hill 2 Remake was going to be done by Bloober Team, I was one of those people who were like, oh no. They gave it to a studio who hasn't made anything that I've ever enjoyed. So I had some of the lowest expectations for this remake before it came out. And I cannot tell you how happy I am that this game turned out as well as it did. because it is fantastic. Great family fun at the best amusement park in Maine. We've got some more confirmation of Silent Hill being in Maine, Lakeside Amusement Park being in Maine. Of course, we've got Robbie hanging out on the advertisement. Yeah, it's not Pennsylvania. Centralia had nothing to do with the games. And it's not West Virginia, where Silent Hill takes place in the movies. The games have always been set in Maine, but never, like, directly said in the story or the dialogue or anything. It's always been inferred, implied, but not directly stated. But yeah, the original games are, especially Silent Hill 1, is very, very heavily inspired by Stephen King, who sets like 99% of his books in Maine because that's where he's from, that's where he lives. What are some other things that indicate that Silent Hill is in Maine, like from the originals? There were books and things in the environment you could find that reference New England, just kind of in a general sense. The first time where we got anything that directly referenced Maine was... We were talking about this last time. I can't remember if it's the Silent Hill 2 soundtrack or the Silent Hill 4 soundtrack. One of the original soundtracks gives an address for Heaven's Night, like a fictional address for the club Heaven's Night, and it's a Maine address. So one of those things that the developers left like mildly ambiguous, but if you know Stephen King and a lot of those settings in general, if you picked up on a lot of the outside sources like the soundtracks and things like that, there were implications of it being in Maine. But then we've got the remake just kind of flat out stating it in multiple places. And remember, there were original members of Team Silent working on this along with Bloober Team. So if it was something that Team Silent didn't want them to include, they probably wouldn't have done it. So I'm glad they're just kind of saying it outright now. All right. I think that's about everything here. Grab our supplies before we head out. Dahlia really reminds me of Carrie White's mom. Yeah, Silent Hill 1 is basically Stephen King's short story, The Mist, combined with Carrie, Stephen King's first published novel. There's literally a photo of Stephen King in the diner where Harry wakes up in Silent Hill 1. There are so many direct Stephen King references in Silent Hill 1. Like, as the series went on, they branched out and drew influence from a much wider range of media. There's a lot more, like, David Lynch influence in Silent Hill 2. Adrian Lyne, who was the director of Jacob's Ladder. Jacob's Ladder, hugely influential to Silent Hill 2. So as the series went on, there were a lot of other media that is a bit more direct in how it influenced the team. But the original game, the first one, it's like 90% Stephen King. Used to think Silent Hill 2 was in Cali. So Silent Hill 2, the town itself, the layout and the buildings, the architecture, were based on San Bruno, California. Members of the development team, Takayoshi Sato, went to the Konami US offices, which at the time were located in... where was it? It was nearby. It was like 10, 15 minutes away from San Bruno. So the devs, when they were making the OG Silent Hill 2, they went to the Konami US offices, and then from there went to the nearby San Bruno to take reference photos of all the buildings and streets. So Silent Hill 2, the OG, was very much based on San Bruno, California. It's not meant to be set there. It's still meant to be set in Maine as far as the story goes. But yeah, the streets, the building architecture, all of that was very heavily influenced by real-world locations in San Bruno. Alright, so that's everything there. Let's go to Cafe Texan. Whoops. Sick lore. Hey, if you like learning stuff about Silent Hill, not just the story and lore from within the games, but also a lot of history of development and trivia and stuff like that, definitely check out some of my stuff on YouTube. This is basically my obsession. This is what I've been doing for the last 10 years or so. I've been doing a lot of streams and making a lot of videos and stuff around the entire Silent Hill series. Spent a lot of my life being a fan of these games and doing a lot of research on them, reading all the developer interviews and learning as much as I can about them, and then sharing it with fellow fans. Super strong, super clean. Wash away the stains of yesterday. Yeah, and little references kind of nodding towards James's mental state and why he's here. He's made mistakes. He's killed his wife. The stains of yesterday that he's trying to wash away, either through his delusion or through atonement. That's a fun jacket. Am I into David Lynch films? Absolutely. Very much so. Love Twin Peaks as far as like series go. Love a lot of his films. Lost Highway is very high up there. Blue Velvet is very high up there as far as some of my favorites. A lot of interesting clothes and garments and stuff back here. The coats. There's a lot of clothing that you find throughout the remake that is kind of, sort of resembles clothing from characters in other games in the series. You see these like long black coats a lot. Reminds me a little bit of like Dahlia, or excuse me, Claudia Wolf's robes in Silent Hill 3. There's yeah, here it is. Some of these white collared shirts that look a lot like Henry Townsend's shirt in Silent Hill 4. There's a jacket when we get to Cafe Texan that's hanging on the wall that looks almost identical to Rhoda Mitchell's coat that she wears in the first Silent Hill movie. We'll be making our way that way in just a moment. Ultex 21, $24.95, unlimited tanning. Old Dash, powerful dirt dissolver for a remarkably clean wash. Any interesting finds so far today? Yeah, we found a book referencing demons that was hiding under the counter in the grocery store, among some other interesting little details. Hoping Bloober gets greenlit on a Silent Hill 1 remake. Heard a rumor that 3 was next and want to facepalm. Don't facepalm yet. I mean, there's always going to be rumors. And there's nothing confirmed that Bloober's doing anything yet. Although there is some evidence to suggest they might be doing Silent Hill 1 and then Silent Hill 3. They had some internal company documents that got leaked and made public. Nothing is named by like its proper name. It's all code names for each of their projects. But the code names are not exactly subtle. Like Project C in that document wound up being Chronos, The New Dawn, which is the game that Bloober is working on right now that comes out later this year. So on that same list, they had a Project G, which some fans speculated as being Project Gillespie, potentially a Silent Hill 1 remake, and then a Project H after that, which fans speculate would be Project Heather, referencing Silent Hill 3. So it's just speculation, it's just rumor, but there is some actual evidence, some of those internal documents and things like that, to suggest that they might be working on more remakes. They also publicly announced that they would be continuing their partnership with Konami to keep making games for their established IPs. They didn't say specifically Silent Hill, but Silent Hill 2 Remake was very successful. Konami is not going to say no to more remakes if something has already been successful and made them money. They're going to want to do more of that. So it's not too big of a stretch to imagine they're going to do some more Silent Hill remakes. We got some books here. These are some interesting notes found in New Game Plus to give players a little bit of a hint to getting some of the other endings in this game. Searching for another conclusion, the road to tomorrow. It's better to prevent than to cure, as the old maxim tells us. Taking care of yourself and maintaining a healthy outlook can be a challenge in these fast modern times. The key is to not beat yourself up over past mistakes and avoid those who would do you harm. Sometimes it's better to avoid confrontation instead of engaging in pointless conflict. Steer clear of toxic relationships and focus instead on friends and loved ones. Keep your eyes on the prize and focus on what really matters. Can it be that simple? Yes. Look to the future. It might be brighter than you think. So this is your clue to get the leave ending in this game. Maintain a healthy outlook. Keep your health high. Don't run around injured. Avoid confrontation instead of engaging in pointless conflict. Don't kill as many enemies. Just run and avoid fighting whenever you can. Steer clear of toxic relationships. Don't hang around Maria too much. Keep your eyes on the prize and focus on what really matters. Focus on Mary. So, if you do those things during a playthrough, it will put you on track for the leave ending. So, some clever way to include notes to give players kind of a hint at how to get all the endings in this game. March 1965, the town of Silent Hill was visited by the Maine Psychical Research Association. After thorough examination, a team of expert dowsers from the association concluded the area surrounding the now historic Wilts coal mine to be highly active. They also expressed their hopes for further research and exploration of the gorge. These hopes, however, were never fulfilled due to the location being restricted as a historic nature preserve, as declared by the Silent Hill Historical Society. Additionally, the idea was met with resistance from the local community, which claimed that the nature of the association's research would hinder tourist activities in the area. Questioning the credibility of our research and hiding behind day trippers seems like an excuse to prevent us from seeing what's really out there, commented one of the researchers. Unfortunately, none of the local representatives were available to comment on the matter. Editor's note: at the time of publishing, there exists no evidence supporting credibility of radiesthesia or proving effectiveness of any dowsing methods. Opinions expressed in the article do not reflect the author's views. A little bit of town history, some lore there. Another note for hinting at getting an ending. Another conclusion: choosing death. When life is filled with nothing but despair, some people choose to end it all. I once chose that path for myself as well. I embraced it. It felt right, like the only choice I could possibly make. After I made my decision, it became the only thing binding me to this world. I became reckless. I did stupid, dangerous things. I pushed away even those who cared about me. After all, why would it matter anymore? So, become reckless, do stupid, dangerous things, run around without healing, push away those who care about me, stay away from Maria. Those actions will more than likely put you on track for the in-water ending. And they even have a picture of the lake there, which is ultimately how the in-water ending concludes. Was the... Oh yeah, the leave ending note, just kind of, you see people walking off towards the distance, which is essentially the last shot of the leave ending. James and Laura leaving the town, walking out of the cemetery back to the observation deck. Searching for another conclusion, getting the girls. So this is your clue in how to get the Maria ending. Do you love her? Do you really love her? In sickness and in health? Words are simple enough, but actions speak the loudest. Would you protect her? Fight for her? Put her above any other? Remember, now she is the one. Leave the past behind and forget about old relationships that ended in tears. Be true to your heart, and with luck, things will work out in the end. So if you ignore everything that is geared towards Mary and instead focus on Maria, protecting her, keeping her from getting hit or taking damage, staying around her, you'll start towards the Maria ending. For some reason, that's got a picture of a bird. I feel like a butterfly would have been more appropriate. Medical dictionaries. Book on radiology. Some of these books we've seen in some of the houses and things. Chester Palagut's. That a real thing? I mean, there are people named Chester Palagut's. Nothing significant coming up in terms of authors. It's a real name. The Jules Society? Jules Society, North American Jules Verne Society. So that could be a reference, a Jules Verne reference. Notable author. Recipe book. What did you make of the Saul Apartments black goo room? What do you mean, what did I make of it? We looked around it pretty thoroughly earlier in this playthrough, if you want to watch the VOD. I kind of share my thoughts on it. The main thing is the door that doesn't open and the goo and everything on it, which I interpret as being a rotting corpse that is propped up against the door, preventing James from opening it and giving a source for all the gross fluids leaking out. Clipping into the room and everything, by the way, there wasn't anything in there. Nothing actually rendered inside that room. Here's that same Cafe Texan receipt we've seen a few times now. I want to see if there's any other interesting books that pop out or catch my attention, but a lot of these seem to be repeated textures at this point. Okay. That's it for the laundry and the bookstore. Keep heading this way to Cafe Texan. Oh, we've got to stop off here. By the way, Andy's bookstore is a recurring location in the Silent Hill series. It's in Silent Hill 1 as well as Silent Hill Origins. So normally it's in a completely different part of Silent Hill. It's on Old Silent Hill, or it's in Old Silent Hill where Silent Hill 1 and Origins take place, rather than this section of Silent Hill where 2 takes place. But little reference to an existing location in other games. Gentleman's Style. And here's one of those neat details. So, Masahiro Ito, the creature designer and lead artist for the original games, and he also contributed a lot to Silent Hill 2 Remake, he revealed on Twitter some years back that the design for the Great Knife, Pyramid Head's iconic big sword, the Great Knife, that it was originally meant to be a pair of scissors that were broken. So the one that Pyramid Head used and the one that James could pick up in the original Silent Hill 2 were meant to be like two halves of a giant pair of scissors, which is why it's got a very distinct shape and handle to it. So here at the Gentleman's Style, you have this giant pair of scissors hanging from a chain, and it is the shape of the Great Knife. You can see the shape of the Great Knife blade in the model itself. Really great detail there. Welcome to Neighborhood Cafe. Smudged out. That's a reused thing. Clearly, this is not a cafe. We also get a mention here. I saw him again, or at least I think so. He says he didn't, but I don't know anymore. I'm tired. Can't find it. Doesn't matter. That scraping noise again. So the same way that Pyramid Head walks around scraping the Great Knife around on the ground, we have the note hinting at that, the pair of scissors, that again, just like the big pair out front, resembles the shape of the Great Knife. Oh, this is that coat. We'll find another one in Cafe Texan, but this long, like, beige trench coat, very similar to Rose de Silva in the first Silent Hill movie, part of her wardrobe. See, nothing hiding in the drawers. And hiding up top. But still, just some cool details and references. Our Cafe Texan delivery vehicle. once we go inside, this will get attacked. A little scripted enemy encounter. There's Cafe Texan. Cat Street sign. Lemonade, cherry pie. Spill the beans over an honest cup of coffee. We can actually interact with this one, I think. Again, it kind of hints a little bit towards James's mindset. Spill the beans, a term meaning tell the truth, over an honest cup of coffee. James is in the midst of a very strong delusion. He's not accepting the truth of reality. The town is subconsciously reflecting that into his environment with all these little hints towards telling the truth or being honest with himself. Bunnies. A butterfly atlas. Butterflies being significant for a lot of reasons. In Silent Hill 1, Alessa was a bug collector. So she collected bugs, butterflies, moths, and things like that, which were projected into the other world as like the float stinger boss. Silent Hill 2, Maria is symbolized by butterflies. She has butterfly tattoos. There's a lot of symbolism regarding butterflies throughout the game as a way of symbolizing rebirth. The metamorphose from a caterpillar to a butterfly is sort of a symbolic parallel between Mary dying and then Maria being created. And that specifically is, I think they're, what are they, Death Head Moth? Yeah. The Death Head Moth, which obviously, aside from the name and the skull pattern being sort of ominous, it was also made popular by Silence of the Lambs, which was a influential work to Team Silent. Something they reference even as far back as Silent Hill 1. Cropped old-timey public domain photo. Oh, like an old photo of the town streets, the grocery store. That little intersection. Grand Market. Another clock stopped at 10 past 9 and 15 seconds. Here is that a better, more well-lit view of this coat. Again, it looks a whole lot like Rhoda Mitchell's coat. The Silent Hill 1 movie. Or the first Silent Hill movie, rather. Lassie. The observation deck, complete with somebody standing there looking over the side, potentially two people. Even their car is parked badly, just the way James parks really badly. Just a much older car. But that is where Silent Hill 2 begins, this observation deck. Pretty much in that exact spot. Same photo there. More old cars. Nurses The nurses, we'll see some of these images in a little bit better quality, easier to see once we get to Brookhaven. There's our finest old Polish whiskey. Again, there's lots of little Polish-specific references because Bloober Team is a Polish studio. All of these, which I covered in the previous stream, but for anybody who didn't see it, get a lot of interesting little references here on the beer tap. So you have Toluca Light, which is a reference to Toluca Lake itself. You have Ale Peaks, which is a reference to Twin Peaks, a very influential work by David Lynch that inspired the original team members, original devs. Jacob's Lager, reference to Jacob's Ladder, again, very influential film to the original Silent Hill devs. Keswick Pride. So Keswick in England is where Derwentwater is located. So in the original Silent Hill 2, when you're on the observation deck looking at Toluca Lake, that image of the lake is edited together from photos of Derwentwater. So Keswick Pride is where Derwentwater, the real Toluca Lake, I know there's a Toluca Lake in California, which is where the team borrowed the name, but the actual image of the lake from the original Silent Hill 2 is Derwentwater in Keswick. So they did a reference to that. Leonidas, I'm not sure how that ties in the way these other references do. Maybe somebody on the Bloober Team dev just really liked 300. And then Red Velvet, a reference to Blue Velvet. So Blue Velvet, another film by David Lynch. The original Silent Hill 2 cutscene where Pyramid Head is torturing creatures while James hides in a closet is taken almost directly from Blue Velvet, another very influential work to the original devs. So lots of little Easter eggs, little references in the beer taps here. Get our coin. Here's our scripted enemy. Also, I think this is the same Cafe Texan receipt that we saw print out that we've already looked at. Yeah. We've already seen that in some other places. Pretty much everywhere where there's a cash register with a receipt poking out, they just use that same prop. Good stuff. I think that just about does it. For the town exploration, at least for the town that we can get to at this point. We've got what we need for Neely's bar. Yeah, we got the dry cleaners. Did we look at Cafe Mist? Take another look real quick. I think we did. No, I don't think so. Plants and things in the window. This painting, which we've seen in some of the other houses and apartments. A lot of detail stuff rendered in here, considering this is not even building location that we can go inside of. Same menu that we saw at Big J's Diner. But yeah, considering you can't even go in there, I'm surprised there's that many props. Actual things rendered inside. It does make me wonder if there was like some cut content. They originally maybe wanted a lot more of these areas to be accessible when they were first designing them, and then kind of had to pick and choose which ones they could actually flesh out. Did I look at I'm pretty sure I didn't look at Giga Computer yet. I see not really anything inside this one rendered, just broken monitors. Stuff that you can just vaguely see through the windows. Japanese restaurant, Gozo's Sushi. Sushi, tempura, temaki, udon. Tables and things rendered inside, not much else. Silent Hill Tavern. Nothing at all rendered in there. And we're back to Andy's tool shop and the Metal Gear reference. So we've gone around the entire town now. We've got the camera view pulled back a little bit so we can see more of these scenes than we're originally supposed to. A little bit wider perspective on that cutscene. See much more of Mary's model. You could see all the stuff around Rosewater Park that like wasn't rendered in. Yeah, the record plays surprisingly well for being superglued together. Oh, whenever we pick up a key, James does the finger thing. Because again, you're not supposed to even see his model beyond just what's in your hand. And for some reason, he does that pose. All right. Now we can go through Neely's bar and start making our way towards Woodside Apartments, which is what we're going to do tomorrow night. But for now, that is going to be it for me. I'll be back again tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we will continue on with the cam hack playthrough of Silent Hill 2 Remake. We'll finally be getting to the Woodside Apartments. This playthrough is going to take all month. Maybe longer. We'll see.